emerging technologies. A warm good evening to all of you and special Friday evening to all because we have an eminent guest with us and we are fortunate to have such an eminent personality with us virtually on a wonderful platform. Key panel member of this event, Dr. Sandhya Chintala, madam. Warm good evening to you, madam, for accepting our invitation, being with us. We have been honored and we are thrilled by this moment. Madam is currently holding the post of Executive Director, IT-ITeS Sector Skill Council, NASSCOM, National Association of Software and Service Companies. And Madam is going to deliver today on the significant title of current situation facing the new normal learning and working challenges for the past COVID-19 world. This pandemic situation has made all of us to reset ourselves and to adapt to the situation, embrace technology, learn, unlearn, relearn. And this is the platform which we had proud to organize an event as it was inaugurated by our Principal Director MSME, Mr. Panniselvam. And next, Madam is on our ninth day of today's event. And I welcome all the participants across various countries and various parts of India to today. And when we're discussing about Madam, this is our conference theme on Digital India 2.0. Kindly help us in first of all accepting the invitation to address. And Madam immediately suggested the title, which is the key area we are happy. It's going to be the hot core topic of today's session. Without not taking much of my time, I welcome Madam for this occasion. I present my humble and sincere thanks to Mr. Uday of NASSCOM Chennai for making this to happen and Ms. Amrita Basu for all this connectivity. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir, for participating. I welcome all the senior professors, principals, vice principals, directors, HODs of our institutions, students of and participants from various institutions, industry sector, and training and placement officers, and few members from abroad for joining with us for this day. I hand over the session to Professor M. Lakshmi Mohan, Head Center for Industrial Relations and the man of networking. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Good evening to all. Respected leader, beloved Dr. Sandhya Chintala, ma'am, warm welcome to you. I take immense pleasure to read your profile. Dr. Sandhya Chintala is the Executive Director of IT-ITeS Sector Skill Council, NASSCOM, SSC NASSCOM. SSC NASSCOM addresses the education skills development initiative of this industry body for the country. Dr. Chintala is also the Vice President of the National Association of Software and Service Companies, NASSCOM, which is the Chamber of Commerce of the IT-BBM industry. She holds a doctorate in cognitive process of how the mind absorbs information and is the foremost expert in assessment process for SSC NASSCOM. Ma'am, for your kind information, we signed MOU with you only signed and our principal both signed in Chennai office, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Chintala has a rich background in international and national education management. Her role at NASSCOM includes providing the roadmap for IT, BBM industries, NASSCOM educational initiatives, the development of industry standards to facilitate a quality talent pool, liaising between industry, academia, and government, and making India prepared global destination. As a, as a strategist, Dr. Chintala has in close collaboration with the IT BBM industry and other relevant stakeholders contributed to the design and development of the Sector Skill Council for NASSCOM. She has identified and executed programs to develop ready to deploy talent by laying standards for skills recruitment in the IT BBM industry. Thank you very much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. I would like to thank Uday Shankar for this occasion. Thank you.
Yes, madam. Welcome, madam. Over
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you so much. Let me just share my screen. So thank you, Dr. Rajidraba. Thank you, fellow panelists. And of course, my colleagues, Mr. Uday Shankar and Ms. Amrita Basu, for facilitating this. It's indeed a pleasure to be here with you. Today's session will be a two-part way. One is for me to let you know and to discuss with you and sometimes debate what is the new normal and how learning and working challenges post the COVID that we should be addressing. What are the business strategies that will work for you as an academic institution and in response to what the industry requires. So having said this, the second part will be mainly on the questions and answers that you may have so that you will know how to adjust to the new normal. So the way we look at it, this has been a pandemic has been a huge problem, a disaster, many lives lost. But the way we address it, the attitude should be that this is an opportunity for transformation. So keeping this in mind, what we ask ourselves as a country, as the supply side and the demand side, that is academia and industry, what is the next best thing? The next best thing is, can we reposition India? So then you will say, how do you mean of repositioning India? Means, can India become the superpower it was meant to be another 20 years later? As Dr. Babu has said, we have set the reset button now. And because of which, those 20 years have shrunk to now to the next 6 months. What we have experienced in 3 months prior, now as the way forward, we have to see how we can do ourselves better. So having said this, what is the advantage that India has? Can India take the position of China, which has been the market for the world? Can we build India digitally? Because the way we live, the way we learn, and the way we work during this COVID has changed everything. So what is the new normal and how will we share this with society is a question that we have to ask ourselves. Having said this, let me just push this a little bit to the top so that it doesn't come in the way. Yeah. So these are some of the few points that I would like to do. We live in a world of consumerism. That is, we basically work, we earn, and then we live. So there is a cycle of connectivity between these three words. But to redefine this, we have to say, how should India become the world's favorite back office? China was taking this position, but now can India do it? Everybody is looking towards India and saying, we would like India to take this because you're a democracy. You are not really wanting to take over the world or move it defensively. You're the biggest democracy. So having said this, let me say, ask ourselves, can we do it? What do we stand? So let me inform you of some very startling facts that you might not know. We are globally the first offshoring destination in the world. 55% of the market share in this area belongs to India. We are the third largest ecosystem, startup ecosystem, where US is the first, then followed by China and then India. We are second largest casting producer. We are the second largest producer of steel and cement. Second largest mobile manufacturing unit in the world. Third largest producer of coal, fourth largest in iron ore. The world's largest diamond cutting and polishing center. 75% of the world's diamonds come from us. We are the fourth largest automaker, largest manufacturer of two-wheelers and tractors in the world. Then the third largest manufacturer, the fourth largest manufacturer in the world with regards to trucks. So having a look at this, what stops us from becoming first? What stops us from becoming first is because we are not ready attitude-wise to take on the new normal. The new normal that has been reset the button, we have to understand what industry wants and therefore how academia should respond, or sometimes academia itself can take the lead. So let us explore that, ladies and gentlemen. The question that we are asking ourselves is, all of this is aspirational. You have had about 8 days of discussions and talks. But the question is, are we in control of what we want in India? Are we in control of our destiny? It's not going to happen unless we start preparing for the scenario where we think in our mind, oh, just another few months and then we'll all go back to college. We'll all be teaching the way we want. Industry will go back and work in its offices. Ladies and gentlemen, the story is over. We think another 2 years it's going to take before we go back, and everybody, the reset buttons, restarting the retail industry, restarting the airline industry, then teleportations, then we have manufacturing, gem and jewelry, media and entertainment, furniture making, then you have auto manufacturing, the food industry, the agricultural industry. Every one of them is struggling to start back. They're saying, is it worthwhile working the way we were working before? The answer is no. The return on investment is looking for new ideas. So let's explore that before we move on. The new ideas is an alternate work strategy, people. So you might say, what is this alternate work? And why is MAG talking so much about this? Because the industry has understood the importance of this alternate work, and we have shifted. So is the old way of teaching, learning the old methods, learning the old content going to be relevant? The answer is no. So let's talk about what the work globally is happening. This is something called a gig economy or a freelancing economy. It's also called a sharing economy, and it's a platform economy. Look how we are all communicating now. Everything is online. So it's all through platforms. We don't have to travel to a place. We don't have to set up food and tea and coffee for everybody. At your convenience of your home, we are living, learning, and working as we want. At your own pace, at your own time, anywhere, right? So look at these options here. Now, why do you think people will embrace the square? This is the question everybody is asking. 48% of the world who are already working in this gig economy says, I have control over my time. Others say, while I'm looking for a better job, 19% say, let me try this. It's a good idea. Many women specifically who have dropped off the work grid because of biological reasons or home life balance now can all join back because it helps. So 48% of the women are all expected to come back to work, which sets the work-life balance properly for them, which sets the gender equity in most of the workplaces. 22% look at it as a way of making extra income, right? I'm sorry, making an only way to make income is 22% because they really do this on their own. But 55% also look at it as how they can make extra money on this side. So what is this gig economy going to be like? This gig economy is something you can work for a place in Coimbatore, you can work for 2 hours if you're a web developer, say. Work in Coimbatore, you can work for another 3 hours for Vietnam, and for another few hours, you can say 1 or 2 hours twice a week. You can work for the US, and the rest you can run your own company. So there is going to be no job loyalty per se. There is no full-time employment. It is all project-based employment. Even faculty abroad work for only 8 to 9 months when the university is working. The rest of the time, they either go to industry or they're doing research projects for which they have got funding. So the way we can work nowadays is going to be very different, which means you have to be very competent in the work that you do. We are not going to be dependent on the fact you have a degree in a particular education, but we are going to look at whether you're competent to deliver the work that you have. And this is the same for all levels of work. That is, even if you're a senior person in the management, or if you're just an entry or somewhere in the lateral. So you will find that we have to adjust to this new normal. Let me give you some more information. Do you think India is going to take this? You might ask it. Oh, India will never. But now we are forced to consider this. But you will be surprised. Let me give you some facts. If there are 4 freelance, if there is the world is having freelancers, every 4 freelancers globally, 1 is from India. You never even knew about it. So if a country dominates when it comes to software, with India contributing to 50% of the global freelancers are from India. Amazing information for you. You didn't even know that they were there, smart people amongst us. So we did a survey of about some 500 freelancers in the country. You would believe that freelancers, whether they're starting or they're middle-aged, etc., the minimum average sort of salary is about 20 lakhs per year. They are earning most about 23%, which we further surveyed, were in the age of 42 or 45 lakhs. Now, there are about 20 million freelancers expected to actually come to accrue in the next 2-3 years. And by 2025, this freelancing community itself will be able to contribute to 20 to 30 billion dollars to the economy. So all of you faculty and universities can also look at yourself. Not only you're working for the university, but you can also freelance globally because you're competent and you're a subject matter expert. So this is a new opportunity. And most of the time we have found this experienced people are in this age group of 40 years or so. So don't think that this is just for the newcomers. This is very much for established personnel, right? So having said this, what is the challenge in this particular area? It's a mindset issue. You always want a full, comfortable job working 9 to 5, but you know now how different it is. So this traditional mindset is a problem. And in India, we have a problem with networking platforms, lack of devices, as well as lack of bandwidth. But I think that is a scenario that we have to consider as a white space where there could be an entrepreneurial run towards that end. All right. So the benefits of the gig economy is that industry does not want to go back. TCS, Infosys, Wipro, all are large companies, and even the small and medium, where NASSCOM has around about 95% of the human resource and about 92% of the revenues are earned by NASSCOM's member companies. There are about 2,700 member companies, out of which about 16,000 in the country. But these 2,700 are equivalent to almost to 95% of the human resource and 92% of revenue. So having said this, the top 200 companies and the top 50 companies have all said, we are not going to go back. 75% of our people will work from home even after normalcy, like what we declared, that we have found an antidote for the virus. We will go back, we'll work from home. So that means they are seeing what? This reduced fixed costs, there will be lower payroll expenses, then reduced investment, flexibility in managing hours, right? So for workers, there'll be flexible hours, ability to work from home, more autonomy, a common way for people to earn extra income. So already the stage is set. So we are now being forced into it, and now we are finding ways of how to make it standard as an outcome. So this movement to digital transformation has been swift. We as an organization too, almost 95% of us are working from home except for the essential services. And when we go back, you'll find that 10 to 15% only might go back to do some work on occasion in the university or at the office. The rest will all work from home. So this digital transformation has happened. And you found that we have increased the use of video conferencing formats like Zoom, MST. We are on Zoom always. And it'll be amazing to learn that on one day in April, when it all started, 200 meetings, 200 million meetings took place simultaneously. And it's just going to grow. Google Meet has about 100 million daily meetings happening. Now, e-consultancy has increased. Even healthcare, cancer patients, then other sort of requirements, everything that is there is all through consultations, and this is online. So you can see that the digital transformation has happened, and in India it's also being absorbed. This work from home has become what we call is the new normal, and it will continue even once the COVID opens up. So NASSCOM itself has seen that this industry, IT-ITeS, of which it is the lead association as a body, has ensured that it is an essential services, and because of which it remained open right through and will continue to do so. The work from home requires government norms. So is already working with the government to leverage crisis and create new models of engagement, including labor laws. So then you can see whether you will get your PF, whether you will get leave, whether you'll get maternity leave, medical leave, all of this, the laws need to be changed if you're working from home. right? So all of that is also being worked on right now. Now we want to take this on as a phase-wise approach, and one of our senior vice presidents has said that undertaking sanitization, including contactless transportation for people, it'll take time to reopen, but the laws are going to be put in place. Another way is, how are we recruiting today? No more are these face-to-face interviews. It's all virtual recruiting. So we have intelligent automated systems. They offer virtual screening environment and interviewing experience. So are your students ready for this? Because some of them still have to be placed and they're looking activity. So who's training them to actually address the dress they have to wear, the type of how they sit in front of a webcam, how do they focus, how do they action, how do they talk? All of this is very critical because without the training, they will be lost. So onboarding, another one is when they get on board, you'll be quite surprised. We have done it at NASSCOM too, and so are many companies. There is lateral onboarding, as well as there is a fresher onboarding, which is ongoing. And this is happening during the COVID. So we haven't never seen these people, never talked to them or shook their hands, but they're all virtual. People have been onboarded. So we talk to them over videos, interactive webinars, podcasts, etc. Now, when all of this is happening, how are companies exploring transferring people within reskilling them? So one thing you should know is the number of people that being hired are going to be high skilled. So they need to be well informed and understand the applicability of emerging technologies. So what we are doing in our companies is we are reskilling our employees and transferring them from one division to the other, which means they come with an experience package. So unless students are really competent to be able to do things that they want to do in an area nowadays, they have to also learn a lot more hands-on experiential learning in the university system itself, which means the way you teach and the way student learns is not going to be knowledge intensive, but it has to be competency intensive, which means a lot of skills have to be integrated into the system. So the 4-year learning must also give them an experience of what the type of job or the occupation that they're going to job. Now, let me just give you an idea of the increased demand for freelance workers. So we are looking for people who are data analytics, cloud, cybersecurity, business planning, data engineering, brand strategists, market research, market entry strategies, SAP implementation. At least now 25% to 35% of the workforce are all into freelance roles. So that's getting established. Before it was those people who are individuals here and there. So now all colleges and universities must focus and say, how can you have your students take up this section of 30% of the roles too? Because we need, you will find that the reduced fixed salary costs will be there. Training and upskilling cost and infrastructure cost has been reduced for the companies. Flexible staffing basis based only on business needs, that is projects. And therefore, we will have now access to students globally. We are not going to just hire only from India, because I don't need them to come to an office. I'll be working globally. So that means your curriculum, content, teaching methodology, assessment and evaluation must be on par with a global workforce. So these are some of the major changes that we'll have to consider in the workspace. Now, do you think that India is only going to do this? Look at the stats that you see on the side here. Now, work from home, 93% of China has already worked from home. America is 89, South America is 82, then Australia, New Zealand, 79%, rest of Europe, 78. India is only 77%, UK is 72, Philippines is 60. So these are all in the IT space, huge players. So I thought it's good for you to have an idea that globally, the world is restructuring and has set the reset button. So the new normal includes this category of work requirements. So the way we work now and the way we'll continuously learn is going to be very different. So one of the things is the universities must start thinking of just not serving the fresher community, but serving the reskilling and upskilling requirement of existing employees. Because the new technologies, which are AI, big data, then you have cloud computing, IoT, cyber security, then 3D printing, augmented virtual reality, mobile, web and mobile. Then you will have, nanosensors. Huh? All of this, robotic process automation, all of this requires a constant upskilling. Reason because these technologies are evolving so fast. So faculty as well as students, if they have to be relevant, faculty to the students and students to the industry, this constant churn has to happen. So we need to look at the new normal, how universities are going to view themselves. They should become the hub of teaching, learning, both on the virtual front, in the blended learning, as well as in the ILT, that is instructor-led format. All the three forms must run simultaneously. Then only we become relevant and we can survive and be sustainable in a changing world. Now, having said this, let's talk about this Global Education Coalition. Because I said now, you are a member as an academic body, not just restricted to India, but to the global community. Reason being, your students will be hired virtually globally. Whereas students globally also will find and step into job roles in India. So having said this, we need to have governance and legitimization of such processes. Empanelment of yourselves and other companies and colleges who are for accreditation. Now, we must also have what is called a credit equivalence. So I would urge all of you as faculty and management of this AVIT to look at the Education Policy 2020. There is said that you can have your existing curriculum, but marry that with vocational programs or content related to jobs and competencies from the various sector council. At IT-ITeS, we have all these jobs related to IT services, business process management. We'll talk about software product development, engineering R&D, and all the future technologies. So if you go to the website www.sscnasscom.com, Amrita and Uday will definitely give you the details. You will find that these courses all have got credit equivalents. 15 hours of theory, 1 credit. Tutorial 30 hours if you have, also 1 credit. 45 hours, you can do 1 credit. So you can actually work with us as we are working with AICT to consider online virtual internships, on the job training for online, and during the classrooms, which is now virtual, if you take a practical, and even if you take on virtual labs, right? You should be able to give them the credits. You can interlink it with the credits into your curriculum, make your learning more useful, which means that the student is now ready for the new work ethos in this post-COVID period, which is the new normal. There are I will also like to inform you, IIIT Hyderabad website, there are 1,000 practicals for the BTech, B, etc. programs, civil, chemical, mechanical, all of them, which is freeware, which is available on the NASSCOM website, which is the Future Skills website. So we have launched a Future Skills portal, wherein which learning for students can happen. You can become members, and we enable this sort of a program learning for all the new technologies, for all the foundational programs, and then move on to course-based learning. So for all this to happen, if you are looking at the status of a soon-to-be deemed university. So as a deemed university, what will happen is you can get state sponsorship, you can get phase 2 sponsorships from MHRD, MSDE, phase 3 global collaboration. As a deemed university, you can go for, you might have already have, I'm not too aware, but Atal Innovation Centers, where innovation and COE startups and entrepreneurship become a very important structure. So having this, my vision for you is you have to move towards remote online e-learning process. You must also offer a customized online e-learning aggregator marketplace. That we can support you and forward it to you. But remote online e-learning, where ILT, instructor-led transformation towards virtual instructor learning. There are two differences. One is on remote and one is on online. Remote means exactly like your classroom is here today, where you will take attendance. You have a calendar of events, you have a curricula, and then you have attendance. Students come, listen. There is classroom interaction. You might have role play, debates, whatever. You give them homework, they do it. There's formative evaluation and summative. Everything can be done virtually. So if there is interest, we'll definitely explore. But my submission to you is to make this work. So education has been jolted to stage, right? To change, leading surprising innovations. Now, as a you deemed to be university, I would say that your competitors as well as your colleagues globally have also started thinking on the same lines. So they have taken up a lot of interactive apps. They have gone to Carva, they have gone to Emobido, they have gone to Kahoot, then Khan Academy, etc. But they're all individuals, each one gives a little bit. But NASSCOM also has brought out what is called a Future Skills B2A platform. So do explore that. Now, some of the countries, and China especially, where they have large numbers, they've started having live television broadcasts. And classes are running, and there are special channels just like Doordarshan. So this needs, you need to have your local cable operators or your state bodies to actually work with. So even a subject like physical education is being done online. So you will see through your webcam the teacher is doing the exercise. You are doing the exercise here too, or you're learning something. And then if you want to be assessed, there is a video that has to be taken. You capture it on your cell phone, you upload it, and the teacher evaluates it. So one of the things that's happening is not only are you doing your subject, but everybody is getting digitally enabled. They have to now learn how to shoot, to edit, and send the video in the right format for the faculty to evaluate. Soon when 5G comes in, the speed will become even better. So globally, the world is also moving towards it. Now that what's important as well as interesting thing is, now while you're at home as faculty, professors, demand for online tutors has become huge. Everybody, every day, 500 to 600 new faculty are becoming online tutors. So there are little classes which are about for 4 to 5 hours to show you how you will take a webinar, how you will organize yourself, how the lighting should be behind you or front of you, how will you pitch, how will you take practicals, and how will you actually use certain tools like Carva, Kahoot, etc. to show practicals online, makes it more applicable. So demand for digital skills, of course, will never go. But demand for online tutors is something. So can this university, deemed to be university, look at also supplementing this requirement as faculty as well as administration to other needy organizations? Have a think about it. Now, one of the things is private-public partnerships is very important. So in China, what they have done is cloud-based online learning broadcasting platform. So few colleges like yourself come together and use the same utility. So the expenditure is not much. So in that consideration, what we have done is the Ministry of IT and NASSCOM have come together and say, let us enable an aggregator platform, because you will have players like Coursera, Udacity, Udemy, Simply Learn, Pluralsize, Lynda.com. Every one of them will come to you independently. You have to evaluate. Can one place like a marketplace, you have everything. And the other one is also is, if I go to the platform and I want to become a cloud architect, I might not know the basic requirements of Java, C++, Angular, JS Angular, etc., or Python. So I will be asked, customize my learning basis a diagnostic. Then I will be given customized learning pathways, which will then help me learn better, because not everybody learns the same way, and not everybody starts the journey of learning knowing what is meant to be known. Each one is different. So this sort of an adaptive learning ability is showcased in the AI-enabled platforms, which we will be launching shortly, and hope that all of you will participate. So basically, one of the things that we have seen is huge number of an explosion in edtech companies. So the list has grown, and as I've told you before, as a university, for you to have return on investment, because there will be a lot of problems now that you are in a closed down scenario, and students may not join you back in full force. It is now important for you to have an outreach program where not only do you address new students, but you also will address employees who will upskill. Because one thing that will last you in the way forward is that continuous learning is required. You as faculty will continuously learn, but we as employees too need to constantly upgrade and upskill to be ready for the future. Now, what will be some of the problems that we will face, specifically in India, and is also sometimes a global problem, that only 60% of the global population is online. So what about the rest of the 40? So everybody will be starting to get themselves the requisite devices, but we need to also get the requisite bandwidth. But can we lay the fiber right now, or should we focus on satellite communication? So that will be the answer. So let us see how we can get some innovation solutions from your side. One of the problems is that those who have all these digital devices will be very easily getting on to the new normal, whereas others won't. So we have to think of some new ideas on how we can solve this problem. Now, having come to the academic formats, I'm not too sure, because I would like to debate this with you as soon as another few minutes, is why do you think that we can fix a curricula and think that the student will be enabled for work? So there is a new concept, like in the companies before, we used to say you should not bring your device. We will offer you because there might be an opportunity for malpractice, etc. Even some offices, we couldn't bring a CD or a pen drive from outside. Now we're saying, go home, take your laptop. In the last few months, almost 75 lakh laptops from offices were transferred to homes. So that sort of flexibility we are looking for. So we are saying in the university structure, if you have year 1 or year 2 with a fixed curricula, which is fundamentals, year 3, can you have, say, a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer? He would like to know what is the applicability of mechanical processes right across healthcare, because I want a robotic process automation there. He might want to actually work on the media and entertainment front to set up instrumentation there. Or you might look at the geospatial requirements in the satellite space. So all of this means there's a cross-functional requirement across every other industry sector. But they are not available for you as open electives. So can the student create his own learning? You have to only say, hey, you need to have 100 credits. 50 credits is compulsory from our side, but the other 50 credits, make your own package. And you can make it as a package from your own university or college, or you can borrow it from the affiliated universities and colleges globally who are having an accreditation with you. So the scope of what the student learns, he can take up a Carnegie Mellon course, or he can take a Cambridge course and bring it in. So this choice-based credit system is available with us. So if you can explore that, the richness of learning is more. But what happens is this student becomes a global candidate. So create your own learning. You as administrators and faculty and heads of department must think that this is going to be the new normal. So what will happen is they will be highly motivated. They will be self-directed learners with a custom pacing and sequencing. So you need to prepare your curricula, your timetables, etc., and document these new processes, which will help the student become more relevant to the global economy. So I have put a lot of ideas your way. I would like to debate this, and I'm open to question and answers from your side. So over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patient hearing. Questions, please.
Participants, please post your questions on question and answers panel. We'll moderate.
And one of you can read it out so that I can
Yes,
just
ma'am.
do that. Yeah.
We'll do.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was a whole nutshell session. You started from the relearning portion, need of the situation, and highlighted about work from home strategy. For us, an education institution, work from home is a different strategy, but we are adapting to it. And you're very in India, it is almost 72% in current scenario. I hope overall percentage will now increase. I think so. Not only apart from the software, it will be
Yes.
going to the next level, I hope.
Yeah.
And as you said rightly about, it is a more positive, like gig economy is a now very growing and booming economy, which we are being watching it, how it is going to impact the current scenario
Yes.
of the students. Like we have in a current scenario, like only not only placements, and second thing is a higher education, third is an entrepreneurship. Now this is a
Correct.
third category now, not part-time or the terms are getting renamed now. So it is
Yes, I
have a
agree with you.
big impact for all this economic aspect. It was an eye-opening session, and also advised about the skill sector's future. What are the
Yes.
skills to be looked over it, and what are the flexibility of the university to get it over it. So it was a very wonderful session, madam. To add upon it, as you said rightly about AVIT is a constant college of VMRF deemed to be university. We
Yes.
are more actively involving in all digital platforms like MOOCs courses. We are the nodal center of IIT Bombay Spoken Tutorial. In NPTEL Nodal Center, we are having 6 TB video access, terabit 6 TB video access, and National Digital Library, Shodh Ganga Library Network. And recently, we had obtained permission for 3,000 members license from Course Era, and we have uploaded, our faculty members have uploaded 661 videos in Microsoft Stream. And
Yes.
the course, we are a Microsoft course where we had uploaded 248 videos. And also we come across all those different strategies as you advised, as you suggested, like blended learning, flipped classroom. We are also involving all these research-based assignments. With
Right.
respect to PMKV, we had trained for DTP operators, CCTV, mobile.
Exactly.
So
Very good.
we are all following your advices as we are watching you closely as once you signed up with an MOU. And we
Yeah.
need your help for making the courseware ready with respect to new courses, tailor-learning
Correct.
courses as of current scenario, maybe
Yeah.
including in the subject or to make
Yes.
it as an added value-added programs as all those things. We are also
Yeah.
ready to collaborate with you, madam. I have a
Yeah.
question with respect to current scenario, madam.
Sure.
Now, the current trend as of now, the placement, we cannot say it is will be very good when comparing previous years actually. But
Yes.
we are
Correct.
hoping giving the students that you should be skilling up, as you said rightly about all the disruptive technologies, what to be added up, where to be get it up. So they are being equipped with all those things, and we cannot predict for all the 3-4 years. And what is the advice you are giving for the faculty members to look for equipping themselves?
So one of the things is all the faculty will have to have one area of competence is the artificial intelligence, AI
Okay,
courses.
okay, madam.
Whatever you do, that is going to become the new requirement for everybody because we are already living in that. How do we do and understand that? So statistical innovations, etc. The second thing is all the faculty have to be trained on enabling webinars. We would request that you also put up a strategy process where in which you will start teaching virtually. So if you have to, what you call virtual teaching is called remote learning or online learning means where you have recorded the teacher sessions and like an NPTEL, it's available. But here it's actually live classrooms. So you need to get yourself a platform or see what you have as a platform and say, if I have 250 teachers, each one is taking a class, 250 separate classes must be running online, firewalled from each other, but you have a central dashboard. So the vice chancellor, registrar, head of department, everybody can view who's learning, who's not. Students register online. They are going to do sessions, practical, tutorials, etc. Now, some of the practical sessions need them to physically come. So in once in a week, 10% or 20% can come to the college, say, after a little bit of time. Only they'll be. So the whole group of faculty students will not be there. So how do you manage that? Right? You can have the student come to the class, but the faculty might not be there. There might be one person who has showed them the demonstration of it before. The student can see it on video, but the teacher is actually watching the student or 10 students in the practical lab. Teacher can do the video sessions, recording is there, but they can view them videoly and support them. I have students here who are doing piano classes. The teacher, they have a webcam. The teacher is looking at the student playing and saying, do this correctly, do that. They are replaying in their own home. So things like this are happening. So there's no end to innovation. We are always happy to help to let you know how to accommodate. But we have the mindset that it is not possible should go away. So the first thing is the faculty must say, okay, put out your curriculum. Say how many sessions. We have got 60 classes for the semester. How many is theory, practical, and this. All the theory can be online. Tutorial will be basically video record. So teacher goes to the college when nobody is there, does the practical and video record it. Then the students come to it for the session, and they will also be, social distancing will be there. But only about 20, overall every time only 25% of the students are there. Faculty are never there at all. So they are still socially distanced, but they can see the video recording which they send to the students in advance. And while this happening through your CCTV and webcam processes, they can actually look at the students perform. Students can ask you. So when they go home, they will ask questions. So that enablement, you have to timetable it. Otherwise, it will not work. So start putting out the timetable during this holiday period. Work on it. Your end of year exam, semester exam, since NASSCOM, Sector Skill Council is empowered under the government to consider government exams. Even under the TechFit, we consider the exams. We can conduct it totally online for you. We will work with your teachers to actually do the question papers. We can do subjective, multiple choice, scenario-based, simulation. So many types of assessments can be done. But see that the whole exam system is online made available so that you start the new year with a completion. So all of this is feasible right now, sir. Very important.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for an wonderful explanation, ma'am. There was a question posted in the Q&A.
No, please, please.
Yes.
I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Do you think the traditional way of Gurukulam will be converted into digital platform in India? And if so, will it elevate knowledge of our students?
So the Gurukul system is extraordinary because it's actually experiential learning. You know, you don't learn the theory first and the practical. You learn the practical, and through the practical, you learn the theory. That's the Gurukul system. Extraordinary. Now, can I simulate this in the online process? Yes, it's viable. But this IT industry and working in this industry is mostly feasible. 99% is workable in this particular. Not all industries will be able to do this. But for example, I have got a parent who has said that their child is cutting a ear problem. The ear needs to be operated. So basically the doctor has looked at the kid or virtually, like telemedicine, no? They're looking at this too. And they say, come. So that one person alone goes sometime once in a blue moon to go to do the, actually get the operation done. But you don't have to visit the hospital for your regular programs. So the possibilities of videoing, looking at people, etc., is increasing very strongly. And that is how I think the Gurukul system also, the hand-holding will continue virtually. Only thing is customization to scale is now possible because of AI. So each of the students will be able to learn at his own pace. Because if I want to repeat what the teacher is saying, before in the classroom, I could not disturb everybody. But now I can play the teacher's video over and over again as many times. I can look at the practical 20 times. I can get mastered. In the classroom in front of everybody, I feel shy because others say he doesn't even know this basic. But here you can repeat it as many times. So you will find ultimately the number of people who learn and learn well is far more than in a classroom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. There is one more tricky question is asked.
Yes.
To connect Industry 4.0 with Education 4.0 in the panel of Digital India 2.0. There's a question is asked. And also one more added questions to it. And with the effect of forthcoming 5G revolution, it's going to, what is the impact over it?
Okay, the impact is that the speed of all the activities will become faster. There will be no lag, but it will take a little bit more time for 5G to come in India. In other countries, it is available, especially in China, but this will be a little bit of a problem. But digital 4.0 is what is the ambition that India has. But for that to be established, we need the ecosystem, that there must be infrastructure. I can say go virtual, but if you don't have a device or the bandwidth, there's no way of doing it.
Exactly.
Everything has to be interconnected. Whether I want to know whether it's a hospital system or the police, or if it's going to be what you call a primary healthcare, anything that I need, it all has to be connected. So all of those will take time and effort. But the fact is now India is thinking different. We said, why does it matter when there is an autonomous car? I want only cars where there are more drivers because it's labor intensive. Now we have to rethink. The migration problem that we have had, 85% of India are migrant workers and they have lost their jobs, right? So the rest is what we have to say, but they filled an ecosystem and the work was getting done at the base of the pyramid that we never realized. Now, for every industry to start up and get back, whether it's aerospace or whether it is the food and food and hospitality industry, everybody is struggling. There are no workers. So we'll have to really restart, and it's very important for us to reinvent and think how it's going to happen. 5G is there, it should come in a little faster, but again depends on policy, try, etc. But all the other systems we have to rethink. I don't have all solutions, but the fact if we work together to say, okay, this is the new normal. This is the new normal, and therefore we have to find a solution. But if you think, oh, we are going to go back, then that's a problem. The opportunity of going back is very remote, because companies will say there's no return on investment. It's much more expensive to run the old way rather than to absorb or embrace the new normal, which is a virtual. Yeah.
Thank you. The new normal is creating more diversified platform. Just to add in over it, it's like in embracing technology, we are going to make it as a new normal, as a normal condition very soon, I think so, madam.
Yes, that's what's good. Because one of the biggest things that you see this new normal is that if you have a wonderful teacher in your college, it's not restricted to this. You can make them available to online students who are registered on your virtual platform, and thousands of students can benefit.
Exactly.
So at one go, within a short period of a year to 2 years, all the students who did not benefit from the best faculty because they could not come to an expensive face-to-face classroom can now benefit on an online virtual classroom. Your one lecture for your 25 students can go to 10,000 students. Either it is live or it can be recorded. So if you start thinking on those lines and monetize it, you have a new business model for a university.
Yes. Thank you, madam. Thank you. There's one more question from industry perspective, madam. Which course would you be recommend for managers in KPO or IT-ITeS industry?
There is not a course as such now, because all of us are working together. See, before we have something called DevOps, is now a new thing has come. We had coders, you had people who operated it and you tested it, right? Testers, coders, operators. Now all of this has come together, is called DevOps. So the jobs have emerged and evolved with necessity. So even now we are asking, are managers required? So I need managers who can manage the virtual calendars, who can take calendars just not for your office, but can I manage calendars globally? Can I manage calendars to different countries or states? Because you're thinking you're situated in Tamil Nadu in a particular district, but your education and program is only for that ecosystem. Suddenly the world is opened up. So what is the role of your manager? You might have 1 million students online registered in your college. So what will your manager do? Likewise, in the KPOs, knowledge process outsourcing requirement, suddenly the world has become my playground. So managing is going to be a different set altogether. So we are not going to hire through interviews. We are not going to hire people through face-to-face interviews for a single job role, right? So we are going to be hiring globally for a project. So I have got some massive project, whether it's a construction project or a robotic process or a healthcare, where I need X number of engineers to design and develop. I will say I need this design development and I'll put it up on the global scenario. So I look like a Trivago, I look for a 5-star rating on somebody who is the best in this. And after the 3-month project is over, we say goodbye. We give them a rating and again, this person puts up his or her candidature in the global. So what one go, sitting here in a small city, you can become a global candidate. In Orissa, Bhubaneswar, small youngsters who are 12th class, 10th class plus are working for Google California on doing tagging. It has opened doors, but you must be ready. So there is now, the thing is, it has become a global competitive bid. So I'm only saying is you're only limited by your imagination in this new COVID, post the COVID.
Yes,
because before everybody had a choice. You could do face-to-face or you could do this. Now everybody is forced to go into the social distancing process. So since we have absorbed it, I'm now having all government meetings online. Never was that an opportunity to spend half a day going to a government meeting. Now everybody is coming. It is full house attendance because it's only online. Yes. So no cars to go. I don't have traffic time. So it's such a return on investment. So this way, if we have to rethink it, It's how, because we think it's from industry point, it'll take us 2 to 3 years to even think of what was before COVID as a new norm. So I think the world has changed already and it's changed differently. So we have to adjust. Yeah. Next question.
Positive point, the carbon footprint are getting reduced, as you say.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And ozone layer getting restructured, resetting.
Yes,
and you said
yes.
global village, everybody is getting connected. Wonderful.
Yes,
madam.
pollution has gone down. Everything, so many other positives have happened. And now families are meeting more time, quality time, but sometimes it might be too much quality time. But more than that, I think this is a different way of how we are living. And therefore, since the work is different, how we learn also has to respond. So that is the only requirement.
Thank you. Thank you for all your extraordinary time spending, for all your patiently for answering questions, madam. We are really fortunate to host your event. We request you to make yourself to visit our campus soon in Chennai and Salem. We will make it happen once in normal condition.
We are always open to a virtual tour, sir.
Yeah, that's right. But the physical presence will be glorious, madam.
Sure, sure.
Over to Lakshmi Mohan, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
Awesome, ma'am. Awesome. Today is gifted day for us, ma'am.
Okay.
You have simply explained about the present scenario of Gurukula Mandal. It was wonderful and informative session to us. Thanks for making us more informative, ma'am. It will help us to groom as academicians and students community through NASSCOM sector skills council, ma'am. We will
always there to support you, Ranga. So feel free anytime.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So humble, ma'am. You are so humble.
This occasion is memorable. I hope we can all switch on the videos and make a group photo virtually with madam, I think so.
Sure.
I request all the participants to switch on the photo, switch on the video.
Look how beautifully all of you have changed over. It's really nice to watch this. And thanks to Uday and Amrita once again. They will be there to connect with you all again to see that we take it to the next step again.
Yes.
Happy to offer you any help to make this a viable proposition for you.
Karthik, kindly take the snapshot. Dear participants, kindly switch on your video. We can have a group photo. It's a wonderful moment. Presence of an eminent panel member in this global conclave on Digital India 2.0. Yes, dear participants.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you, Amrita ma'am. Thank you, participants. Once again, I would like to thank ma'am. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you so much.
Still, most of the participants are in video mute. At least,
okay.
Please, kindly 2 minutes. I'll take a snapshot. Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Mr. Uday, sir. Thank you, Amrita, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Right.
So kind of you.
Namaskar, sir.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sir.
Dear participants, kindly submit the feedback form and watch our YouTube channel. And tomorrow we have 3 eminent personalities in our panel. Sri Isaac Newton, Sales Director and Head of Pre-Sales, Japan Business HCL Technology, is going to address on resilient strategy. And Sri Satya Prakash, Vice President, Human Resources, Amtech System, is going to address on life and skills for Digital India 2.0. And Sri G. Venkatesh, General Manager, Quality and Audit, ICT Academy, is going to address on education in Digital India 2.0. This is the 10th day of our global conclave on Digital India 2.0. I request all the participants to tune tomorrow at the same time, 5:15 p.m. for getting a wonderful knowledge and interaction with 3 eminent industry personalities. I once again thank all the participants who have been present here. 2 more days for this global conclave Digital India 2.0, government transform with emerging technologies. Karthikeyan, can you share today's admissions poster, career guidance program?
2 minutes, sir. Sorry, 2 seconds.
Yeah. And today in our AVIT career guidance for higher education 2020 for +2 completed students at 6:45 p.m. The details are shared. Mr. Lakshmi Mohan, Professor Lakshmi Mohan, our co-organizer, Head Center for Industrial Relationship, AVIT VMRF, is going to address on training, placement, and internship opportunities. Kindly don't miss it. Attend the event for an wonderful opportunities and to know the status of current scenario. And we have one more special invitee, Mr. Venkatesh Narayanasamy, founder, Innovative and Training Services Limited, is going to address on the title of Opportunities Ahead in the Field of Engineering. I request all of you to attend both the sessions and share these details to the students who have completed +2 for choosing a bright and better career in AVIT. I once again thank all of you for your participation on day 9 of GCDA 2.0. Over to Lakshmi Mohan, sir.
Sir, Lakshmi Mohan sir left, I think so.
Network issue. Okay, thank you one and all for all your presence. We'll meet you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Karthikeyan.
Right.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you,
all.
sir. Night.